Hi everyone, it's Marianne, and for today's video, I'm sharing with you my winter favorites. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I know you've seen this type of video all over YouTube where everyone shares their monthly favorites, especially at the end of each month. But for me to do a monthly favorites, I think will be too boring and repetitive because I don't think my favorites is going to change from month to month. But I thought of sharing with you my favorites at the end of each season, starting with my winter favorites. And in this video, I will not only be sharing with you my favorite houseplants during the winter season, but also my favorite products, experiences, media I consume, even favorite food that I ate this winter season, and all of that. So if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Marianne. Welcome to My Wasteless Life, where I take you along my houseplant journey and share with you some of my tips and tricks along the way, and as well as share with you lifestyle content that's focused on sustainability, wellness, productivity, and as well as my personal and travel vlogs here and there. So if that type of content interests you, please make sure to hit the subscribe button before the end of this video, and also make sure to like and comment on this video and let me know your feedback. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So over the winter, my experience with my houseplants is pretty chill. I did lose a couple of plants, well, a few plants here and there if you've seen my struggling plants video or my plant videos early in January, where I had some plant casualties after I came back from a 2-week vacation. But aside from that, overall, my experience with my houseplants was pretty chill, especially since I came back from vacation. Everyone was doing pretty okay. I didn't really have any huge pest infestation or any more plants dying after I did that video. And the plant that really stood out to me this winter season is my monstera standleyana. And this is the monstera standleyana aurea that I got off a trade. And I also do have the monstera standleyana albo, but that one is currently propagating in water, not doing too good. Even though it did suffer root rot when I combined it with the monstera standleyana albo late last year, it did bounce back once I separated and just let it grow on its own again and in leca. So far it has been doing well in leca. I gave it a pole and it's actually been attaching itself to the pole. So I'm really happy about that. And this is one of the plants that I'm thinking of trying to mature on a moss pole or a plank. I haven't really decided yet. I'm kind of doing my research on what is the best pole or plank to use for plants to get them to mature and also be aesthetically pleasing at the same time, because a lot of the methods that's being introduced or we know of is currently, yeah, they might work but they don't look good, or they look good but they don't work. So I'm kind of like trying to find something that is both aesthetically pleasing, because it's going to be in my space all of the time, but also allow the plant to mature. But for right now, this one is working with this tiny moss ball, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna outgrow it really soon, especially as we head towards the growing season. But I'm really happy with this monstera standleyana. Not sure if I'm gonna keep it in leca, because you know what is my experience with leca in the long term, but so far it is happy in it, so I'm not going to disturb it. But yeah, my favorite house plant this winter season is my monstera standleyana. And the next plant that I'm going to mention is an honorable mention, because this is the only plant that I bought this winter season, and it is a plant that I said that I would take a chance on this year, which is a watermelon peperomia. I got this, I think, at Lowe's or Home Depot in one of my plant shopping videos that I did recently, and found this for like $3 something, $4 all in all with tax. And this is she right now, and so far she's doing well. I did have to cut off some of the leaves because either they were damaged or they were broken, so I just cut them off. But so far they are working pretty well. They have been in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. The watering situation I do find a little bit tricky because I can't really tell when it needs water or not. I'm still learning that part with this watermelon peperomia, and I also think it's still adjusting to my current environment. So we'll see what's going on with it, but it does have a few growth already pushing down here, although I am noticing that the new growth is not as big as the leaf that it came with. But that's okay. I'm fine with the smaller leaves, but I haven't had a chance to actually check the soil or attempt to repot this. I don't really want to repot it anytime soon, but so far it is doing pretty okay. It is just currently adjusting. So far my attempt into getting into more peperomias, or at least trying my hand on the watermelon peperomia, which is notorious for being a tricky plant to take care of, is going well so far. So hopefully that continues for the rest of the year, not just this winter season. And the third and last plant that I'm going to mention for my winter favorites is this Plumera node. And as you may have known in my previous videos, I struggled with propagating nodes, but this one is working out so far. I don't see any root growth yet, but it's definitely pushing out growth up here. And in case you haven't seen my previous Hawaii vlogs, I did get this from Hawaii. I normally can't bring out any agricultural products from Hawaii without any proper permits, but this one was already pre-inspected by the Department of Agriculture, so it already came with a stamp of approval and was being sold at ABC stores. So I got this from that, and so far it is doing well. I'm really excited. I heard from other people that have tried to propagate this node that it could take months, even years, to actually see it become a proper plant, but that's okay. I'm willing to wait, and so far it's doing well, and hopefully it continues to do well. So moving on from houseplant favorites, but still houseplant related, is my favorite plant care or plant propagation tool this winter is my prop box. Specifically the boxes that I got from Target, which essentially are just clear storage box that I got for $2 for the small one and $3 for the larger ones. And this has been great tools for me to propagate my plants and also rehab my plants, and also help me give some of my plants that need a more controlled environment over the winter season to help them survive. So I have over here in the smaller box. So in this smaller box, I have my smaller plants, including my string of turtles propagations. I'll insert a B-roll so you can see a little bit more properly what is inside. And in this larger storage box or prop box are plants that could really use the humidity or the controlled environment over the winter season. So here I have my Anthurium clarinervium, my Brandtianum, my Philodendron cream splash, my Shangri-La pothos, and my monstera sultipicana that I'm still trying to save, but I don't know if it can be saved, but usually it bounces back when I least expected it. So we will see, and I think being in the prop box helps it. And now that it's spring is fast approaching, I know a lot of us already thinking of starting to propagate plants, and a good way to start propagating plants indoors if your weather is still very cold, like in my area, is to use prop boxes. And I highly recommend this one that you can get from Target that is between $2 to $3 to $4, depending on the size that you would get. I just like this one because they are square, they're clear, and it's easy to fit in any space that I need it, especially in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, which is the smaller type of an IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and it fits perfectly in the shelves. So yeah, my favorite plant propagation tool this winter season is my prop box. So moving on to my favorite sustainable product this winter season, as might you have already guessed it, my Starbucks tumblers. And I don't really collect Starbucks cup or Starbucks tumblers, but I kind of have acquired a few of them this winter season. And this one is the exclusive to Hawaii Starbucks tumbler, which as you can see resembles a pineapple. And I really like this one. And I also have another one that you might have seen in a recent video. So this one, which is also an exclusive Starbucks cup for Disneyland. So these are the two tumblers that I alternately use to help me keep hydrated this winter season. The sustainability product part might be questionable. Some of the Starbucks products are used from post-consumer materials. I'm not sure if these two specifically are, but they are reusable tumblers, and I do take them with me when I go out, especially when I run errands. So that prevents me from buying drinks in plastic bottles or in plastic cups, because I already have water with me inside the car. So this is my favorite sustainable-ish product this winter season, my Starbucks reusable tumblers. And my next favorite thing that helps with my productivity is my Plantiful planner. I know you have heard me talk about this a lot of time, and it seems like I'm just promoting my planner, but this has seriously helped me be on top of my monthly goals, my things to do, also keep track of my habits, my food journal, my water intake, my mood tracker, and of course keeping track of my houseplants in this planner. So this is kind of like an all-in-one planner, and I'm really glad that it has working out the way I envisioned it. But of course, as I also use it, I've already seen some areas where I could improve this planner. So I'm really excited to make those changes and those improvements for the upcoming planner in 2023. And I know it's already the middle of March, so if you're thinking of getting a planner, you probably already have one. But if you're still interested in getting in it, it is still available in Amazon. But I'm also trying to come up with a planner that is not dated, so you could use it or start to use it at any time of the year. But I'm also trying to take out the houseplant part of this planner and just make it its own houseplant journal, so that you could purchase that as well, so you can have a journal just specifically for your houseplants and not have everything else included in it. And that is coming soon. Hopefully by April I can share those products with you. But yeah, my Plantiful planner definitely helped me with my productivity, and I do highly suggest getting some type of planner, whether it's a physical planner or a digital planner, whatever works for you. It doesn't have to be my Plantiful planner, but it definitely helps me with my productivity and be on top of the things that I need to do from the day-to-day to the weekly to the monthly. So when it comes to wellness, my favorite thing this winter season is going on walks with my dog. And I know that seems like so common, but I do really enjoy these walks with my dogs. And lately, he's actually been wanting like 3, sometimes even 4 walks a day, which is a little bit too much. I get it, but I don't go to the gym anymore. Well, I haven't been to the gym lately. At the beginning of the year, I tried to go 3 times a week, but now I really haven't been going to the gym, but I'm doing this extra walks with my dog. And I could show you my step count for like the past month. As you can see, I've been like doing a lot of steps. My goal is to get to 10K steps daily, or average 10K steps. But studies have shown recently that all you really need is an average of 7.5K steps, and we're hitting that. So I'm really happy about that. So even though I'm not getting myself into the gym, I'm doing all these walks and gaining a lot of these steps daily with my dog. So my dog is happy and I'm happy. And also what I like about this walks is not just for my physical health, but it's also for my mental health. I get to clear my head while on this walk, breathe in some fresh air, and also get to spend some quality time with my dog. And it's always fun to see him walk around, see his friends, and I also get to talk to my neighbors who have dogs who are friends with my dog. So it's also kind of like a social activity for me as well. So I really enjoy those walks, and my favorite wellness activity this winter season. So one of my bucket list items for this winter season was to read more books, but I actually haven't been reading as much books as I wanted, at least compared to last year. I think in a previous video I shared a couple rom-com books that I have read, which is Love, Hypothesis and People We Meet on Vacation, which were okay. I like reading those books, but I wasn't too crazy about them. And usually when I like books, it usually encourages me to read more books, but this too never really did that. But also another thing that I want to accomplish when it comes to reading is to read more financial literacy books. And there's this series of financial books that I've been reading, which is the Broke Millennial series. So there's like 3 books in the series. One is Broke Millennial Takes on Money, which just basically teach you the basics of financial literacy and money. And the second one, I can't remember the titles exactly, but the second one, I think Broke Millennial Talks Money, which this book I really like, and I'm just currently reading it now. Is basically teaching you how to change your relationship or improve your relationship with money, how you think about money, and how you talk about money with your friends, loved ones, and romantic partners, which might seem to be common sense or not big deal to some, but actually a lot of our financial literacy comes from the people closest to us. We see how they handle their money, they talk about money, and that's what we learn and pick up as our financial habits. So that could be either good or bad, but most of the times it's a mix of both. And for me, it involves a lot of unlearning and really reshaping my point of view and perspective and general relationship that I have with money and finances. So I think this book is really great. So if there's one book in the series that I encourage you to read, it's the second book in the Broke Millennial series, and the third one is actually the first book that I read, but it's the third book in the series. Not that you have to read all 3 in order, but it's better if you read them in order. And the third one is on investing. The third book is basically teaches you all the basics of investing, when to invest, how you should invest, and what questions to ask when you're just starting to invest, and all of that. So this series is for us who knows nothing about investing at all and never really got educated when it comes to finances. In layman's terms, this book is practically teaching the ABCs to kindergartners. So that's how basic this series is when it comes to financial literacy, but I personally find it very helpful. So I think you might find it helpful too. But one thing that I was really able to do this winter season is to catch up on TV shows and movies, and I'm going to share you my favorites. So my most favorite of all is All of Us Are Dead, which is a K-drama limited series on Netflix, which is about a zombie apocalypse that broke out in a small town in South Korea, and is specifically centered in this high school and a group of high school students. So what I really like about this series is it's a typical zombie flick, but at the same time it is not, because you know how zombie shows or zombie movies are usually an allegory for a pandemic. But with this one, they really honed into the pandemic aspect. So they really treated the zombie apocalypse as a pandemic, and they really made commentary on how society reacts to people suffering from a pandemic versus those people who have to make changes in their lives in order to be able to control or get rid of the pandemic. And they also talk about the zombie virus, like they would talk about COVID-19, how it has different variants, how you can be asymptomatic if you get bitten with the zombie, because there's instances where a couple of characters, they got bitten by the zombie but they didn't turn into a zombie, but they got the characteristics of a zombie, like the super strength and also wanting to eat people. And it also made a really good commentary on how we as a society actually really value the lives of children. I highly recommend watching it. I think it only has 12 episodes, so it's a very bingeable series, and it's available on Netflix. And the honorable mentions for me are, of course, The Witcher. If you're not watching The Witcher, I highly suggest you watch it as well. And a series that I've been watching right now, which probably not a lot of people know about or care to watch, is How I Met Your Father. And the reason that I'm watching it, because A, I love Hilary Duff, and second, I love the show How I Met Your Mother. It was my comfort show during college, so a lot of it for me is nostalgia between Hilary Duff and How I Met Your Mother. But I do think it's a solid show. It's just getting it started, so I'm giving it an opportunity to improve, because the problem right now with shows that are debuting in streaming, if it's not a hit right away, then people just cancel it right away before even the streaming service or the studio cancel them. But so I do think How I Met Your Father needs a couple more seasons to find its own voice and footing, which is kind of like the same with How I Met Your Mother. It didn't really take off until like the third season. It often got compared to Friends when it first started, but it really became its own show by the time third season comes around. So I do give the show a chance. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll really like it if you loved How I Met Your Mother. I know the ending of How I Met Your Mother sucked, but the series in itself was a pretty great series if you can forget about how it ended. My last favorite thing that I'm going to share with you with this winter season is an experience, which of course is my travels and vacation to Hawaii. I've made several vlogs about it. I think by the time you watch this, I'm already done with the vlogs, or I still have 1 or 2 more vlogs left. And thank you so much to everyone who have indulged me and do watch those vlogs when they come out. And the reason that I am still putting them out, even though it's been like what, 2, almost 3 months since my trip, is because I really want to preserve the memories from that travel. So I want to make sure that I am putting out those vlogs, and I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with it. If not, I have like maybe 1 or 2 more, so just please bear with me on that. Lastly, the last favorite thing that I've been share with you this winter season is my favorite food that I had this winter season, and it's the papaya and yogurt from Hawaii Vintage Coffee. I love it so much. I had it 3 times while I was on the trip, and I also tried recreating it once here, and I think I shared that in the reel or in the YouTube shorts. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'll link it up here and also down in the description. And I enjoyed it so much, better than the acai bowl, and it's one of my favorite things that I had in Hawaii, and probably one of the favorite food I'll ever have this year. So I really loved it. And yeah, those are my winter 2022 favorites. I hope you enjoyed watching that. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please do subscribe. I come up with videos every week. And if you haven't yet, check out this videos up here until my next one. But until then, I see you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and each other, and have a plentiful day. Bye.